Mom talks sports now. Talk sports. Mom talks sports. Mom talks sports.
Welcome to Macho Talk Sports, episode 18. As always, I am your host, Macho, and I'm here with my boy, Daniel Flores. Daniel, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, bro. Doing great. Had a great Thanksgiving. I ate
Nice.
way too much. I actually went to Dominican Republic.
Mhm.
Went as a Puerto Rican, came back Dominican. So it's funny how that works.
Digging it.
Throw
And
me a hit.
speaking of Dominicans, we got our boy Omar, Mr. Omar Gomez. How you doing? AKA not Big Poppy. I'm gonna call you New Poppy.
Yes, it's surreal. I honestly have to say it's very surreal, but you don't know what true love is until they come here. I
Hey,
can tell that to anybody. That's true love.
100%. It gave you a whole new aspect of Thanksgiving, like what to be grateful for and all that, right?
A new reason to thrive and take care of yourself because you want to enjoy your kids. So you got to take care of
Absolutely.
yourself.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's what we do it for. That's what we do it for. Uh it's Miguel's turn to do that soon. I didn't see the other messages before that. I don't know why it didn't pop up. But Domingo, congratulations, Omar. Yes, yes. New Poppy's in the house.
Thank you
You
so
already
much,
know what
guys.
it is. So we got a great show lined up for you guys. But before I start, make sure to hit like, subscribe. Don't be afraid to comment in the chat. Obviously, we got a lot of stuff that we want to talk about, but feel free to chime in or ask a question. We got a lot to get into as week 13 of the NFL season is officially in the books. And I don't know about you guys, but this is one of the most wide open NFL seasons that I can remember. Like, it seems like every Super Bowl favorite gets changed every week. You never really know or have a pulse. You feel like you have a pulse on the NFL, and 2 weeks later, everything's completely different. So this is kind of where I want to start with today's episode is Super Bowl favorites. Like when you look at this list, this is the top 14 teams, 12 or 14. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Top 14 teams here as far as winning percentage. Like when you look at this list, is there a clear name that you see on this list where it's like that's the favorite right there, or does it kind of feel like just wide open to you? And I'll start with you, Daniel.
No, bro. I mean, we started the season with the Eagles might go back to back. The Chiefs are always in the mix. The Bills, all of them have laid an egg. The Ravens, that's another one. I mean, all of them have laid an egg. All of them at some point were the favorite. But who would have thought to this point? I mean, the Patriots are 11-2. That they came out of nowhere. The Bears are 9-3. They came out of nowhere. The Rams, we knew that they were going to be good, but as of right now, as you see right here, betting odds, they are the Super Bowl favorites, and the Seattle Seahawks with Sam Darnold. It's as wide open as it's ever been every week. I mean, that's why we love football. That's why we love talking about football, because every week we can talk about the same team in multiple ways, just criticize them. It's never a constant unless you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're just ass all around. But anyways, it's just the storylines just all over the place. I love football, man. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Omar, when you look at this list here, is there a team that kind of sticks out to you where you feel definitive this is the Super Bowl favorite, or is it kind of just like wide open for you?
Well, remember that a couple of weeks ago when we first started, I believe it was a week 3 or week 4, we spoke about the Broncos and that top 5 defense. We've always with the whole show we always talk about every show we talk about that defense, that Broncos defense, how intense it is. Defense wins championships because you can score all you want, but if you don't stop the other side, you're not winning anything because it's just going to be a back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos have shown you that they're here to not play with nobody. Not taking anything away from the Patriots because the Patriots defense is scary as well. But I feel like the Broncos just have the up on the Patriots. And I feel like, to me, the clear favorite to win the Super Bowl or make a Super Bowl appearance are the Broncos. The Broncos and there's another team, but I'll keep that until like the ending of the season. I'll keep that to myself. But right now, the
Mhm.
Broncos to me is the clear favorite.
So Broncos for you, and then Flores. You said it was the Patriots for you.
As far as actually making it to the Super Bowl, no, I'm still gonna stick with the Rams. I've been riding that Rams wave for a while. Did just lose to the Panthers. Maybe the Panthers are the real deal, but honestly, they're not even on the graphic, so it's just any. But I still think the Rams are still gonna make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I kind of echo that where I feel like the Rams are still my favorite personally. And it was for a lot of the reasons that we were saying last week as far as I feel like they're one of the most complete teams as far as offense and defense where I feel confident on both sides of the field basically. When it comes to the Patriots,
Mhm.
I feel more positive about their defense than their offense, which is crazy because I know Drake May's playing at a MVP type level, but I also feel like part of that conversation is kind of shifted this year because again, there's nobody that's really just completely dominating. Like if you put up his numbers compared to like Lamar for the past couple of years, Josh Allen for the past couple of years, Mahomes like it's night and day really. But when it comes to just this season, obviously he's balling out and he deserves the credits that he's getting. But I don't think it's so much of him being dominant and the offense being dominant. It's more so the defense keeping them in the games and the offense is doing just enough to kind of not turn the ball over, not make any stupid mistakes, not get a bunch of penalties, and is playing a lot of good, clean football, which is great to see. But when it comes to Super Bowl favorites, I need somebody that I feel confident going up against any other team. Now, again, I don't feel like there's this one team, like even when with the Rams, I don't feel like the Rams are a definite to beat just anybody. Because even if you go further down the list, like there's still some really good teams in in the bottom 14. Like the Lions are no pushovers. I don't care if they're 7-5. Same thing with the Bills. If the Bills have their passing game going, they're gonna obviously have the running game going. The defense is pretty decent. So like there's somebody that can always sneak up on you. The Colts is somebody that we'll get into. Like, but there's a lot of really good teams, and everybody's kind of just on that same tier for me. But going off of what I like to see, the Rams kind of just fit that mold for me when it comes to Super Bowl offense, defense, a quarterback that I feel like I can trust in the playoffs. Yeah, the Rams are that favorite. Exactly. That definitely helps. I feel like that's probably something that shouldn't be held it too much. Like we shouldn't just because if that's the case, my favorite is going to be the Chiefs every year, just because I feel like they it's basically second nature for them. But at the same time, oh, we got a sleeper team right here. The Jets playoffs. Let's go, Johnny. Johnny, I could always lean on Johnny for some positive
that would only be possible if they were in that Ravens division, because that division,
yeah, that's a fact.
That's
Wide
the only way
open.
that the Jets would be able to do it.
Absolutely
Hey,
wide
man.
open. Listen, and we'll get into that one next, actually. But for the Super Bowl favorite, yeah, I still got the Rams number one. Obviously, that loss to the Panthers was crazy, but that's also another team that we'll dive into a little bit later into the show. But let's move on to this next topic because Omar kind of just segued it for us pretty well. I mean, I want to know, do you guys feel like the Ravens and Lamar Jackson specifically is cooked? If you see these last 4 games here for him, he's thrown over 200 yards only once. That was against Cincinnati this Thanksgiving. And in that game, he still didn't have a passing touchdown. He has 1 passing touchdown in the past 4 games, 3 interceptions, only 84 rushing yards with a game high of 36. This is a whole completely different Lamar Jackson that we're not used to seeing. Their defense has been playing better in these past couple of weeks, which has kind of kept them in these games. But the way that the season's going, and I'll start it with you, Omar. Do you think that the Ravens and Lamar is cooked?
No, I don't think so. Remember, like I said before, that division is up for grabs. It's not like these other divisions that if you win 6 games, you're already out of it. They still have a chance, but the defense alone can't do it. Lamar needs to be Lamar. If Lamar's not Lamar, they're not going to go anywhere. So I think the division is wide open. But like you said, Lamar has been having the same problems that other quarterbacks that previously have been doing well, is the inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll come back to bite you towards the end of the season, not only in the playoffs as well, because teams capitalize off of mistakes. So you can't be making the same mistakes you are during the season and bring those inconsistencies into the playoffs because you're not going to win anything. So Lamar's not cooked. I would say as of this week, no. Now, if he continues to play like that, yeah, bro, they're well done. They're a well done steak. It's over for them, bro.
And then their next opponent is actually the Steelers. So Daniel,
That's a do or die.
is the Ravens and Lamar cooked?
No, because I still have them winning the division. Regardless, and that's more of me being down on my Steelers than I am up on the Ravens because I do see the Ravens not being so great. Lamar is he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, and I wish we had him honestly. But when it comes to big games or just in the spotlight when you really really need one or you can capitalize, kind of like last year's in the AFC Championship and just years before in the playoffs, I don't know what it is. He just doesn't show up. It's almost like he's hesitant to be Lamar Jackson or to be a different type of Lamar Jackson that everybody wants him to be, more of a pocket passer as opposed to just somebody that's dynamic and can hurt you in multiple ways. The defense, like last year around week 10, they turned it around. This year, it looks like about the same. They are kind of figuring it out. They are getting a little healthier here and there. But they're going to have 2 massive games coming up. Now, just because I'm down on my Steelers, I'm not going to be like, oh, the Ravens are going to cook us this weekend, because it's not really my thing to say. But at the same time, I'm not very confident that the Steelers will win this game. So, but the Bengals, they have that defense's number. And I mean, the Bengals, by all means, they can pretty much just kind of put the nail in the coffin to the Ravens and kind of help us out at the same time. It's a weird division. Again, we all kind of bully each other. We kind of hurt each other. We help each other. And then at the end of the season, what it seems like is that nobody's been able to win the big game in a while from the AFC North. So I think they're cooked, honestly. I don't think they're going anywhere far this year.
Yeah, when it comes to this season, I also think that they're cooked. And a big part of that is the rest of their schedule. I mean, they just lost to the Bengals, so they got to face the Bengals again coming up in week 15. They have 2 matches against you guys. I'm assuming that's at least going to go 1-1. You guys have a very similar schedule right now. I think you guys are both 6-6, if I'm not mistaken.
We are 6-6.
Right.
Yep.
So both of you guys are tied for first. They just lost a divisional game last week. They got 2 more coming up in a row, and then they got to end the season. Like, there's just, and then in between all that, they have the best team in the NFL in the Patriots, and then a playoff team in the Packers. Like, I think it's murder she wrote when it comes to the Ravens. And as far as Lamar Jackson, the way that he's currently playing, I think it might behoove them to actually even just bench him at this point. If now I wouldn't say bench him for week 14, but week 14, week 15, they come out with 2 L's in a row and Lamar still playing as badly as he's playing. I can only assume that has to do with health issues. And if that's the case, what are we playing for this year? Let's just kick it over to next year. As long as you have that franchise quarterback, you can always kind of kick the can down the road. And Lamar's still at that age where you can definitely just be like, okay, let's just put him in some bubble wrap for the rest of this year and then move on to next year, make whatever changes we have to make in the offseason. But when it comes to this season, the way that he's been playing, I mean, as you can see against the Jets, 153 passing yards, no touchdowns, obviously no interceptions because we don't take interceptions. We don't like those in New York for some reason. But at 11 rushing yards, like, this isn't the same Lamar Jackson. Even if I had high hopes for us winning that game just because the way that they've been playing, Lamar Jackson not dominating us like you would just expect is that I have to take that as some type of health issues. And the Ravens need to think about Lamar and think about their future. They have a lot of old veterans on this team. They were definitely trying to go for it, which I respect, but it's not working out. They need to get him more weapons as well. I feel like he's trying to do. They put a lot on his plate by not surrounding him by more talent offensively. Now, they gave him Derrick Henry after he was past his 30s. They gave him D-Hop when he's past his 30s. They still got like Rashard Bateman out there. Zay Flowers is
Wow.
good in spurts, but
His tight ends.
the tight ends is cool. I likely has been having a couple of weird games lately, but I do like him in general as a tight end. And Mark Andrews has had some flashes this year. He kind of like fell off a cliff last year, and now he's kind of bouncing back this year. But he's also towards retirement age at this point, so it's like you have to kind of revamp that offense and even a little bit of the defense get a little younger. But I think at this point, if obviously still play by ear, you have a chance. You're tied for first in the division, so go for it. But once you see that it's not working out, you have to eventually start thinking about his health. And at that point, let's just take him out of here and let's just move on to next season.
Yeah. The thing is, like with him and even Joe Burrow, they're ballers, right? They're still gonna ball out regardless of record and all that, just to play spoiler to, I mean, hell, the Packers and the Patriots for whatever reason. It has to be health related. I don't see anything else. I don't see any improvement, as I also don't see any way for them to make the playoffs outside of just winning the division. I still have them winning the division because they are a more complete team than the Steelers are. But they should have never been in this position. And I think Harbaugh's seat is very, very, very hot. But then again, they're kind of in the same situation with what we are with Tomlin. It's kind of like he's the culture, he's the guy. Why are we going to get rid of a Super Bowl winning coach?
Yeah, I think it's a little different when it comes to the Ravens, just for the fact that they still kind of have their calling, like for throughout the years, they still had calling cards. They still had, whether their offense was super explosive, their defense was super stingy, where the Steelers had that identity, which was always defense and then the running game, and both of them kind of disappeared. And now it's just kind of like middling between, I don't know what we're good at anymore. With the Ravens, you still know what you're good at. You're just not able to do it as much anymore because I'm assuming Lamar is hurt. So I would say that the coach shouldn't be going anywhere, but if he does, that's going to be a big change in the NFL, because that's a huge fish out there. Especially if Tomlin gets fired as well too. That's two fish right there. You guys just swap.
Shoot, no, I'll get somebody else. I'm good.
He's coming with that purple. Now with the Ravens on kind of their little down fall here, even though they are still tied for first, they're trending downwards basically. Now, someone that has been trending downwards for many years and has kind of turned it around this year is the Panthers. Really, the Panthers in their last 9 games have been 6-3. In their next 4 games, they have the Saints, they have the Bucks twice, and then they have Seattle. Now, 3 of those are divisional games. The Bucks are currently first when it comes to that division. With them being 7-6, because I almost said 6-3 because I see it right there. With them being 7-6, they're over 500 going after week 13, going into week 14. This is a team nobody expected them to even be in the hunt the way that they currently are right now. They just coming off of beating the Rams. My question, and I'll start off with Omar here, is do the Panthers deserve more respect on their name this season?
Yes, they do. Hell yeah, they do. Going back to week 4, did you expect them to even win 7 games with their performances?
Hell
If
no.
I'm not mistaken, didn't the quarterback get benched at one point as well?
That was last year.
Yeah. That he got benched last year, but he was playing bad enough where they were talking about it again this year.
But they were talking about it on ESPN.
Yeah.
I remember they were talking about benching him. They did that last year to him, and they were talking about it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't that, you would be like, damn, that's messing up his mental. Like he's gonna keep messing up. But no, nobody expected this team. No, you told me the Panthers, I would just laugh at you. But looking at the schedule now, there are some winnable games up there. They can make it to the playoffs. There's some winnable games, and they're like, I call them the scrappy team. Based on what I've been seeing the last couple of weeks, they're scrappy. They're a scrappy team. They're a dangerous team. Like I said before, teams are a certain way during the season. That doesn't mean that transitions to the playoff. You could be dealing with a whole different Carolina Panther team in the playoffs that can beat anybody. I'm not saying that they are,
Mhm.
but weirder things have happened in an NFL. I just want to bring up the Giants. Remember the Giants? The Giants were a wild card team beating the best team in the NFL. They beat almost every single good NFC team. So it's not impossible. So we got to keep an eye on the Panthers. That's my opinion.
I respect it. I respect it. Flores, do you feel like the Panthers deserve more respect on their name this season?
They do, and I'm just talking from a fan perspective. Um, the last few years, these guys have they haven't even been able to fill up their actual stadium. They were literally almost giving tickets away. There was a what was it, like a Monday night game? They only had like 400 fans. There was literally no one in the stands. They were getting absolutely demolished. Then they come out this year. They win their first 3 games, and then they get destroyed by Buffalo. You're like, okay, so it was a flop. They just beat a bad Miami, Dallas, and then a Jets team. Sorry. But they're like, okay, they're back. And then all of a sudden Green Bay. So then that starts questioning the Green Bay Packers. And then they lose to the Saints. And you're like, all right, this team's just all over the place. This is just when they get hot, whatever. But then they have a really good win against Atlanta, which is a division opponent. They lose to the 49ers, but then they go ahead and turn around and they beat pretty much the Super Bowl favorite Los Angeles Rams. Now, in order for them to even make the playoffs, I think they have to go at least 3-1, depending on what the Bucs schedule looks like. Obviously, we know the Bucs are on here twice, so it's just whoever the Bucs play this week. But Carolina has to win this week, and they have to split at least with Tampa, or just sweep them and kind of take care of that division, and then probably Seattle, that they're probably going to get demolished, but we don't know. We need to talk about them. We need to put respect on them. Their running game specifically is absolutely dominant when it gets going. The keep pounding is legit. Pause, but they just pound away, and they're gonna find a way
We
to
don't pause on
continue to
this
pound
show.
away.
We keep it rolling. No pause. Unpause.
Resume.
Just like their fans, or organically this pass against the Rams, keep pounding.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you heard that through the TV. That's absolutely amazing. Happy for them. But the Panthers should definitely be recognized, because there's a chance they win the division. And in football, we talk about this all the time, how division winners, even though specifically this division tends to be ass, they still make the playoffs. So if they win the division, we're going to have a playoff game with the Panthers, and that's going to be something to definitely talk about. So let's talk about them right now.
Yeah, no, they definitely deserve respect on their name. And as somebody that lives in North Carolina, I kind of seen the difference. I don't really see too much Panthers gear out here for obvious reasons. I mean, which is weird though, because I still see a lot of Hornets gear, but I think that's just because the gear just looks cooler. So it's like it's nicer to wear. Where the Panthers, it's okay to wear, like it looks okay, but then it's also just the team is absolute trash. But this year though, respect to them, they are having a very damn good season, 7-6, with the division freaking crown in their sights. Honestly, right there with the Bucs, who were one of the top teams looking at the first maybe 8 weeks into the season, and the Bucs have kind of just been spiraling down as the season has been going on, and it's been like that since the beginning. Even when they were a good team with a good record, they were just constantly getting demolished with injuries, and that's kind of just been a constant with them. Bucky Irvin finally coming back last week. He was on a bit of a pitch count. Hopefully next week that he's kind of off that now. But yeah, no, that regardless of the Bucs, the Panthers are still doing what the hell they have to do when it comes to their division, and they have some good ass wins. They got the Rams that they just beat last week. They beat Green Bay as well within there. They beat the Jets. That's a really good team. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And the Cowboys, which, I mean, the Cowboys have been on a surge these past couple of weeks. So they have some really good wins, and this is just within the last 9 games. Oh, one thing that I did notice that was kind of weird when I was kind of putting these graphics together, all these wins except for the Jets win have came by only 3 points. Which I mean, the
Mhm.
margin doesn't really matter when you're one of those bad teams just trying to battle and get the win. You don't care about the margins. That's more of a Super Bowl contender type team. You want to make sure that you're beating these teams by a good margin to just kind of establish your dominance and know where you're at with everybody. With this, it doesn't matter if it's 1 point or 20 points. We just want the W, and that's what they've been doing. Big focus on that was their running game with Rico Daddle coming in as the starter after I believe like week 5 or 4.
Mhm.
And that came through injury with Chuba Hubbard just getting paid last season as well. And now he's out here. Yeah, Panthers are balling 100%. 100%.
Mhm.
And now he's coming out here and just took complete control. Now, he hasn't been dominating these past like 2-3 weeks like he was the first couple of weeks that he started, but still, he has changed the trajectory of that offense, and that has really helped someone like Bryce Young, who's been struggling, back to what Omar was saying, where he was in those talks of getting benched against somebody that had to get benched last season. And when they're benching him, it's not like they're putting in some great quarterback there. That's somebody that they know it's lesser than him. So that just shows that they're getting tired of, one, his bad play, and then two, his just rookie like mistakes, even though this is, I believe, his third or fourth season now. But that running game has really helped out a lot. That defense is pretty good. It's not super stout anywhere. They're like 14th in passing, 19th in rushing, 18th overall. But it's good enough. It's good enough to stick around. And they're still young too, so they can definitely keep building on this, depending on how they do in the draft and how they do in the offseason. If they keep this up, and that division isn't the division that you're really scared of. The only team that you would be scared of is the Bucks when fully healthy, but they also have players that are aging out on their team. So as the years keep going on, the Panthers can honestly take a hold on this division here. So a lot of respect to the Panthers and what they've been doing this season. Keep pounding, man. That's crazy. It's crazy the way they've been playing. Literally, man. The freaking Rams, bro. That's a huge win. That's a huge win. And we would literally last episode just talking them up, and then they come out and beat them 31, put up 31 points on that defense. Shout out to them.
It was Bryce Young answering the bell, right? Game-winning drive, hell of a call. That pocket was clean, and just a beautiful ball to kind of just seal the win. But they look good. They look good, but at the same time, they're not great. They're not great.
Right.
They're establishing a culture, and I believe that's what at least Panther fans wanted to see this season. It's if they have a guy in Bryce Young, they definitely have a running back, and just to see what that whole Panther regime was able to do with some pieces. And now, moving forward, like you said, they're just going to continue building, and good for them. Good for them.
100%. Actually, I forgot I had something that I wanted, because when we talk about like the culture change there, like just the difference between what they were to what they are now. Like, this is the same team that last year they had their damn owner like throwing beer on the fans. As you can see him right here, just the doma. Like this is the type of culture they had. This was just January of 2024. This is not that long ago, to where they're saying to fire the owner, fire the GM, fire everybody basically. And it was one of those spirals of a bad team not being able to figure it out, and then constantly cleaning house and not being able to establish anything with why am I blanking out on his name? Dave Canales. I think they got a really good head coach there. And I thought about that as soon as they hired him, but obviously he had to get his pieces in there to kind of implement what he wants to do with that offense. And it's been showing. I still don't know if Bryce Young is his quarterback, but he's still building everything around. And shout out to them. So this is a team that's kind of been turning it around. And one team that we thought were turning it around, but as the season goes on, I'm kind of unsure about it, is the Colts, man. The Colts, I want to know, what is the real version of the Colts here? They started off the first 8 games 7-1. The next 4, they're 1-3. They lost to the Steelers. They lost to the Chiefs. They lost to the Texans. 3 good teams for sure. But regardless, the way that they've been playing the first 8 weeks, this was Super Bowl like team. This was teams that was breaking records offensively, conversion rates, points that they put up. Their EPA was 102 in the first 8 weeks. Now it's a negative 1 point, basically 0.96.
Yep.
So this is a drastic change. I want to know. I'll start off with you, Flores. What version of the Colts is the real Colts? Does it lean towards more the 7-1 side for you, or that 1-3 side?
I'll start leaning towards the 7-1, and that's simply because Jonathan Taylor is still on that team, regardless if you have a healthy Danny Dimes or not. I know Danny Dimes is going through, I think he has a hairline fracture on his tibia or anything like that, which doesn't make him as mobile, maybe. But he hasn't been playing so he's regressed tremendously. I still believe this team can play up to the 7-1, not like the record breaking, because obviously the book is out on how to kind of play them. You play them. They're a pass first offense. It's just, I'm curious to see how Steichen can kind of just manipulate his way around. However, yes, 7-1, 1-3. I think this slide is going to continue at the same time. Now they can pop off at any time, but historically, now that they're going to play the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, they've been terrible here in Florida. For whatever reason, doesn't matter who the hell's playing. I don't think they've won here in a long time. I don't have the stat on back of my head. But anyways, their next game is at Jaguars, then it's at Seattle, then it's San Francisco, then Jaguars again, and then at Houston. There's a real chance that the Colts might be cooked. But I choose to believe with that running back and that running game with Jonathan Taylor that all they have to do is just pound the rock, and we'll keep pounding, kind of just how the Panthers were just claiming for. But I still think they're still that 7-1 team. They just have to kind of mix things around.
And then Omar, what when you look at these Colts, what side of the Colts are the real Colts to you? Is it leaning towards that 7-1 side, or more of that 1-3 side for you?
1-3. They need this. They need some asthma pump. They need an asthma pump. They need to like inhale this and get some life in them lungs. Let me be very honest with you. I'm such a troll. They hate me. Lamar Jackson is dealing with an injury. And I'm not making excuses for Danny Dimes, but it takes away from the mobility. And part of Danny Dimes' game is the mobility. So I think that the only reason I'm going to say 1-3, not taking anything away from that great running back that they have. It doesn't have to do with him. If Danny Dimes doesn't get to 100%, they're going to continue to lose games. The reason why we're not stressing Lamar too much is because Lamar as in a weak division. You can't say that for the Colts. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if the Colts don't turn it around, we won't even have a glimpse of how they were at the beginning of the year. And I think it's simply because of injuries. And I think injuries have not only been affecting the Colts, but I think all around the NFL, a lot of teams have been suffering because of these injuries, and it's been hindering their playoff probabilities. So I think that this is very unfortunate for Danny Dimes to be dealing with this. And I think that is taking at least 15-20% out of his game, which is mobility.
Yeah, I think I lean towards the Omar side, where I think they're closer to that 1-3 side. I mean, that pace at that 7-1 side, again, that was a historic pace. That's something that's going to be difficult for any team to just kind of maintain that throughout a whole season. So I'm not going to say that the fact that they're not sustaining that means that they're falling off. But the contrast in the difference between those two sides right there are astronomical, where it's almost looking like a whole different team. And another part as to why I think that it's closer to that 1-3 side, because if we look at their next 5 opponents here, they got the Jaguars twice, they got the 49ers, they got the Seahawks, and they got the Texans, who they just lost to. Now the Jaguars are tied with them in their division currently, where they are, I believe, 8-6. Let me double check that. They are currently 8-4. Excuse me. They're currently 8-4. The Jaguars are 8-4. The Colts are 8-4, and the Texans, with the win over the Colts, just became 7-5. So they're right there, a game behind. Now, where I agree, where Flores was talking about that running game and how just JT is just one of these top-notch running backs. I completely agree with you there, but with Danny Dimes being immobile due to the injury and the specific defenses that they have to go against in these, they got the Jaguars twice. The Jaguars are the number 1 rush defense currently. They got the Texans, who are number 4 rush defense, and then they got the Seahawks, who are number 2. They got to go against 3 top 5 defenses in rushing 4 times because the Jaguars twice. So if they're able to shut down JT and then have to just have Daniel Jones try to figure it out there while also being hurt, I think that's a complete hindrance to that offense, and that's going to just completely shut them down. I don't see them winning more than 2 games in these next 5 games, and that's honestly, I feel like, if they're lucky. Like, this is a tough schedule for them specifically due to the injury to Danny Dimes and due to the fact that these defenses are so good when it comes against the rush. Now, JT's good enough where he can still break off a run or 2, and that's about 80, 70 yards right there each run because he's so damn explosive. But unless he's getting those type of runs, I don't see a world where they're able to maintain even first or second in their division with the Texans right behind them. Now, the Texans, let me look at their schedule real quick before I kick it off to you guys, because I do want to see who they have coming up in their next couple of games, with them only being 1 game behind. And now they have the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Colts, the Chargers, and the Cardinals. So their schedule isn't easy either, and obviously they're not a good team to begin with. They're just kind of thriving off that defense, but they have a couple of winnable games that they can sneak off some wins with the Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Raiders. The Chiefs and the Colts, I would assume those are going to be losses, but who knows what that Colts offense is going to be looking like, if Danny Dimes is even going to be able to finish the year with that type of injury. Obviously he takes a couple wrong hits and he's right out of there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't trust the Jaguars. The only team I really trust is really the Texans, but that's because I like CJ Stroud, and I know he's been up and down, and he's finally starting to look like his former self, which is not too long ago. He was his rookie season and whatnot. But that defense is so dominant. I don't trust the Jaguars as much. The Texans have a long way to go, but if they just kind of take care of business within their own division, I think they'll be fine. That's why I kind of see the Colts probably sneaking by. They just have to find a way to beat the Jaguars this weekend. I think if they beat the Jaguars this weekend, which again they haven't done in Florida for whatever reason, regardless of if the Jaguars have been just absolutely ass, they still might find a way to beat the Colts at home. Then that's very, very telling on how the rest of this season is going to go for the Colts.
Man, Danny Dimes is 1 spine buster away from snapping his whole head. Come on now. Like they're cooked, man. He's 1 spine buster away from being put in a sharpshooter and ending his season. Whatever.
and that follow for Danny Dimes, because that was another person that we were talking about at MVP type levels. MVP type levels. And yeah, the fall off, man. The fall off. Unfortunately, Ryan isn't here to explain what happened with this fall off, because that's his guy right there. He knows everything about Danny Dimes. But what I do want to get into, going off of that quarterback into this next quarterback, because there was a lot of uncertainty when it came to the Colts quarterback position. It seemed like they got it figured out when Danny Dimes came off to that hot start. With the way, depending on how they finish, who knows what's going to happen going into next season. I would assume that he still becomes the starter, comes back, resigns, and all that stuff. Now, with this next team, I'm unsure of, with J.J. McCarthy here. The Vikings are currently 4-8 right now. J.J. McCarthy is a rookie that they drafted last year that was expected to start coming out the gate. Got injured in the preseason, missed all of the season. That gave him a year to kind of sit, learn. Obviously, he had a lot of rehab that he had to do on top of that. Now, coming into this year, he's gifted the keys. This is a Vikings team that has been a playoff team the past couple of years. This is an absolute Hall of Fame type level weapon in Justin Jefferson that he has there. He has a great number 2 in Jordan Addison. He has a great tight end in Hawk. He has 2 good running backs, not exceptional, but good. Good enough to get it done. Offensive line is good enough. Defense is pretty good. But he just comes out here and lays an egg. In the 6 games that he's played, he has a 54% completion rate. He has under 1,000 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. My question for you guys, and I'm going to start with you, Flores. I want to know, if you're the Vikings, are you starting J.J. McCarthy next year?
No, not at all. I think KOC has finally met his quarterback that he can't fix match. It sucks, right? Because they had Kirk Cousins, and he was able to elevate KOC, that is, was able to elevate Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins, it wasn't a slouch either. He was actually pretty decent. He's just a little, he'll have his bad and good, and then he'll have his spurts where he'll just have a bunch of turnovers, and then a spurts with a bunch of touchdowns. But he was able to navigate in this offense. Then you have an injury to Kirk Cousins, and then you have the Pastronaut come in, and he lit it up. Then you have pretty much an option to, hey, maybe we should keep Kirk Cousins. No, let's draft this guy. Okay, younger. We know Kirk Cousins is his how would you say his top. He's not going to play any better than this. This is not his floor,
like his peak.
Pretty much. His peak. Thank you. Yeah. So they send him all the way to Atlanta, which that's a whole different mess. But anyways, they trusted this guy. This guy gets hurt. Then they have Sam Darnold, and KOC is able to literally unlock Sam Darnold. Then they decide to let Sam Darnold walk because they think JJ is the guy. I would be pissed if I was a Vikings fan, because looking at the Seahawks, you just saw the graphic like 3 slides ago. They're second in Super Bowl odds with Sam Darnold. Yeah, look at that. I would be sick to my stomach. I really would. You had him in the building. He had a phenomenal season last year. Yes, it didn't end how it was supposed to, but you thought, oh, it's just a fluke. Apparently not. KOC did something to him. Even with Wentz, the Vikings look somewhat okay. Yeah. And Wentz is a complete wild card. He'll just throw the ball sideways looking up. He don't care. And he was able to navigate Carson Wentz. And JJ McCarthy is just, he's not it. He's not a NFL quarterback. He's just looked absolutely lost at all times. There is no improvement outside of that one miraculous fourth quarter where they had that massive comeback versus I can't remember who. He hasn't played any. It probably was the Bears. I think go figure. They're 9-3.
Yeah, I think that was literally week 1.
Yeah, go figure. But yeah, no, I would honestly kind of just swallow my pride and go from there. I mean, I've seen Vikings fans kind of calling for KOC's head because this team is built to win. But yeah, no, it's just that quarterback position is so important in the NFL, and JJ is not the guy.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It's the toughest position to kind of lock down, and just because it's so damn important to. And if you get it wrong, it could push you back 5 years, and if you get it right, it can set you up for the next 10. It's such a wild card position. Omar, when it comes to these Vikings, if you are in control of these Vikings, are you starting JJ McCarthy next year?
No, because I also have to think about I'm wasting Justin Jefferson's prime by not giving him a weapon. He can't throw the ball to himself. And let's be real. Let's take a real deep look at this team. This team has had opportunities to go to the free agent market, and they have failed to do that as well. They could have gotten a couple of good weapons through free agency. They chose not to. I think that had been they are not a failure as an organization, but I feel like they're not being managed and coached well. And you're just wasting Justin Jefferson's prime. You should go out there, see if you could get quarterback through the draft, a trade, free agency, something. But you can't have this guy there next year because it's like you're just wasting this Justin Jefferson's talent. He's a great receiver, but like I said, what can he do without a quarterback? Can't throw it to himself. So the
Sounds like the
Vikings,
same issue they had a few years ago with Randy Moss.
but I feel like the Vikings, like 2, 3 years, 4 years in a row, have correct me if I'm wrong, have failed in free agency, and they've not had the opportunity to pursue certain people, and they chose not to. I don't understand. If you can improve in free agency, why not do it? Why hold on to something that's not giving you any results? Look at this guy. Look at how he smudges that all over his face. Smudge it over your eyes too. That's why you can't see.
That's 9, man. That's not JJ McCarthy. That's 9. We got to put respect on Nine's name. No, yeah. When it comes to bringing him back next year, obviously he's in the rookie contract. Well, I'm bringing him back for sure. Is he starting though? Hell no. If I can get anybody that can start over him, I'm doing it. And I don't even think I'm gonna 100% just abandon ship on him because I think I really, really like KOC as a coach. I really do think that he's a great coach. Is he the quarterback whisperer that we all thought so? I still think so. There is certain guys that are just going to take longer. That's just the reality of it. Now, the fact that he's taking longer and is provided with the offensive weapons that he has, with a really decent defense. I mean, they're like top notch when it comes to passing. Russian can be better, but just in totality, it's a solid defense. And he's still struggling with a great coach on top of that is able to scheme players up and scheme to the strength of his people. Justin Jefferson has 62 catches for 799 yards so far. His rookie season, he had 1,400 yards. Like, this is somebody that is an absolute Hall of Fame like wide receiver, and they're making him look like just a regular ass wide receiver. That's terrible. And this year alone, they're 30th in passing offense. They average less than 200 passing yards per game. That's criminal when you have the weapons that you have on this offense. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you and Flores, Macho. Is there anybody available in free agency this year that they could potentially pursue at the quarterback position that would be
So
an upgrade from their current situation?
yes and no. There's no one that's really available that like their contract's ending at the end of this year where they're just easily available. They could just sign them. Now there's players that they can get that they can trade for that are either like number 2 or number 3 on their quarterback depth chart where they're expendable to their team, or there's quarterbacks that are like a couple of quarterbacks that we have brought up in the show a couple of weeks now is like
Mac Jones.
You could bring up Jameis Winston. You can bring up Russell Wilson.
Mariota.
You could bring up Mariota. You can bring up whatchamacallit, Kyler Murray. Even like Kyler, this is a position where Kyler Murray can look at this team and be like, I want to go there. Trade me there, or if you cut me, this is a team that I'm paying close attention to because they have this is a team that's ready to compete now. The training, I mean not the training, the thought process in JJ McCarthy and fitting into this specific Vikings team was the fact that we're having him on a rookie contract for so long that can help us build out the rest of the team. Excuse me. So if they're getting somebody that's going to be more expensive, that might hurt their plan a little bit where they might have to make changes elsewhere because they're trying to invest in other positions. So I still think that they need to get a quarterback, but depending on if their philosophy is going to change to where they're still trying to get a cheap quarterback, then I think that might hinder them in the market. But if they're just looking for best available and they're open to people like Kyler Murray or people like Russell Wilson or just anybody that might demand some type of money and they're willing to pay it because they're ready to win now, then yeah, there's definitely people available for them. But there's not many of them that's just like going to become free agents next year. They're going to have to do some type of trade or something like that in order to get them. But there's people available for sure. There's definitely
at this
people.
point. Do you imagine if because Joe Flacco did say he wants a starting gig somewhere. He
Next
doesn't
year?
want to retire yet. Do you imagine? I mean, he would be honestly what he showed in Cincinnati and how many points he's able to do that. I mean, Chase and Justin Jefferson are like 1A, 1B you can toss up which one's better.
That's a fact.
Honestly, why not? Why not go after a veteran like Joe Flacco who's able to push the ball?
That would be a great shout. Also because he can kind of mentor Justin JJ McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because it another part of whoever they bring in, depending on their age, it's also coming with the expectation if I do good here and do good on this season, then I could potentially become the starter for next season and so on and so forth. To where if they get someone like a Joe Flacco, he's coming with the understanding of I'm gonna try to win it this year, and if I can't, chances are I'm probably not going to be on this team next year, and that's understandable because of how old I am, and maybe he just wants to retire, even if the team does want him back or whatever. But like where that mindset isn't really clashing, where if they get someone like a Mac Jones who's younger, he's like, I'm not trying to be your bridge quarterback. I'm trying to be your franchise. And so there could be kind of some issues there. But I do like Joe Flacco. That's a good shout.
Yeah. Maybe they can go after Kirk Cousins. We've never seen that before, right?
Yo, I don't think either side would allow themselves to do that. But it's funny because that makes the most sense in this position right here.
It really does.
He comes in, he knows the playbook, he knows the players, they know him. It's built-in chemistry, and they could kind of just pick up where they left off. But yeah, so I mean, we're all in the agreement here where they cannot start him. I would like some type of bridge quarterback, like someone like a Joe Flacco would be perfect. Let JJ sit another year, or even maybe most of the year, and then bring him in towards the end, because someone like a Flacco is someone that's most likely liable to get hurt as well throughout the season. I mean, he's older, man. And he looked
Jameis.
Jameis
would be so much fun.
Jameis would be so much fun. I would start following Vikings like pages just so I could see some more Jameis.
For sure.
But someone else that kind of would just came in, not even came in and turned the person that they let go is with the Seahawks right now. And is balling currently. They're 9-3. They're tied with the Rams, who is my Super Bowl favorite. Daniel's Super Bowl favorite. The 49ers, who are 9-4, still right there, hanging on. No matter what difficulties they're going through, they are still fighting. So that 3-team race right there is looking really damn good. And the fact that the Seahawks are competing and doing a very damn good job at it, I want to know from you guys, and I'll start with you, Omar. Are the Seahawks a real Super Bowl contender, or are they just having a good year?
This is, I would say they are a threat because you have to give it to them. They're in a tough division, and they've managed to keep up the pace. So anytime a team can keep up the pace in a good division, you can't take away the fact that they mean business. I would say with a team like this, I would want to see the next couple of weeks how it plays out, because now in the next upcoming weeks, you're gonna know who's for real, who's for fake, who's really about it, and who's not.
Mm-hmm. December football, baby.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I am taking them very serious. If I was a coach in another team and I'm playing the Seahawks, I'm not playing around with them. I am taking them very serious. They have glimpse of like the Seahawks of old. That defense looks like the defense that got them,
good.
the notorious defense that got them to the Super Bowl and everybody was scared of.
Boom.
The Legion of Boom. So yeah, they're, in my opinion, yeah, very much. I think they're a very serious threat to any team.
Daniel, do you feel like the Seahawks are a Super Bowl contender, or are they just having a good season?
I think it just depends on where they finish. Are they going to host, or are they going to go away? And I think it also very, very much depends on who their first opponent is. They're good. They're good. I saw it firsthand when they beat the crap out of the Steelers back in, what was that, week 3? And then it was just up and up from there. JSN is so freaking good. That defense is so good. But that division is so close. It's almost like they're going to beat up on each other. And then whoever survives is going to end up hosting a game. And I think that's going to be the one that's going to kind of dictate how the whole NFC is going to go. But if you pair up the Seahawks against like the Cowboys or something like that, they have the offense to match, and their defense is a lot better than the Cowboys. So again, it just depends on who they're going to play in that first round. Then the second round, let's say they play, by all means, if the Eagles get their shit together, the offense is a lot better than the Eagles, so they can keep pace, and then that defense can stop Jalen Hurts, which apparently now it's an easy thing to do. So I don't think they'll make it all the way to the Super Bowl. I know they do have something to say when it comes to we're better than the Rams every time we say, hey, the Rams are the Super Bowl favorites, because even looking at their points for and their points against, they obviously score a lot more, and their points against, it's only a 7-point difference. So that means their defense is just as good as the Rams. The only factor is, to which I always give the Rams the edge, is Matthew Stafford. It's been there, done that. So I still have the Rams going all the way to the Super Bowl. I think the Seahawks do have to be taken seriously. And you do not want to, this is just one of those teams you don't want to play in the playoffs at all, because they're going to get you. And then from there, it's just, what Sam Darnold's going to show up.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to point out is, why the hell is that referee trying to take a charge on this dunk? That's number one. He was begging to be put on this poster. But when it comes to the Seahawks, so the Seahawks have been having a great season. And with their next couple of games, they have 5 games remaining, and 2 of those games are actually one against the Rams and one against the 49ers. So in these next couple of games, for sure, we're going to find out who's going to be sticking out there in the NFC West. The Seahawks have a really good chance of doing it, though. I don't know if I could call them Super Bowl-like team yet because of the quarterback position, even though Sam Darnold has been playing pretty well. He's been playing actually very well. I don't want to say pretty well, because that makes it seem like I'm poo-pooing on his season, basically. But no, he's 7th.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, good.
But do you root for Sam Darnold?
I don't root for him, but I also don't root against him. That's like, it's, if he does good, he does good. If he does bad, he does bad. If anything, I hope that he doesn't do too good, because it's always going to get put back to, oh, he wasn't shit on the Jets, and the Jets couldn't figure it out. And look at him
like
now.
Times right now.
Exactly. 100%. Because it always just looks bad on the previous team. But as him as a person, I have absolutely no problems with him. So if he goes out and win a Super Bowl, like, good for him. If he doesn't, it also, like, I'm not rooting against him. He's good. But this year, so right now, he's 7th in the league in passing yards. He's 4th in the league in QBR in total, with a 70% completion rate. Like, he's playing really damn well. And then as a team, like you guys are saying, with the defense is the calling card for this team. They're 6th in the league overall on defense, 2nd when it comes to rushing, and 16th when it comes to passing. And even though they're giving up a good amount of yards when it comes to the passing, that puts them into 16th, they're also pretty good at taking the ball away too. So even if they're giving up those yards, doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to score on them. As you pointed out, with their points against, is only a 7-point difference when it comes against the Rams. So this is a team that is very sneaky. This is a team, like, to your credit, that you don't want to see in the playoffs. But because of that unknown when it comes to Sam Darnold, like, when it comes to playoff time, and people could really hone in on JSN, as amazing as JSN is, I don't know if there's more than 2 or 3 people in the NFL that can guard him one-on-one. And even though it's not going to be a every possession type of play, it's 50-50 in each time. When they can scheme against him and focus on him a lot more when it comes to this playoff time, when they take him out the game, I want to know how the rest of the Seahawks respond, because I think they have 2 pretty good running backs in Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet, where they kind of have a good yin and yang, a good kind of Sonic and Knuckles type of 1-2 punch there. But it's not something that really scares you. Now, to the coach's credit, he schemes up this offense very well. He puts people in their positions of strength to try to see them succeed as much as possible, where even though they have Ken Walker as the number 1, they'll put Zach Charbonnet in when it comes to the red zone touches and stuff like that. I haven't seen Sam Darnold be able to do it at the highest level yet. That's the only thing that's giving me pause when it comes to this team. in the playoffs. In the regular season, though, I think they can kind of just ball out with anybody. There's not that back to the Rams where they're solid on both sides of the field, very solid. Now, again, with the Rams though, they have Matthew Stafford, so you feel more comfortable when it comes to the offensive side, just because you trust the person that's making the decisions there a lot more. But this Seahawks team is fucking balling this year, man. The shout outs to them. 13 interceptions, 40 sacks. Like this defense is going nuts right now. So shout out to the team in totality. JSN should be in a MVP conversation. I think he's getting shunned out a little too much just because he's not a quarterback, which I don't like, of course. But let's leave these Seahawks and let's move on to a division that we speak about a lot here. And that's this. Be happy. Come on. Smile. None of y'all happy. That's funny. The Bills won it. He's still unhappy about it. So the Bills ended up beating the Steelers 26-7 in a beatdown. They doubled them in total yards, 166 to 372. The Steelers have been this. We spoke about the Steelers a lot this season. When it comes to the Steelers, it's a lot of inconsistency. I feel like they have a lot of good pieces, both on offense and defense. Obviously, there's a lot of new pieces too, so it's a lot of integrating that you have to do when it comes to these teams. But when Lamar Jackson was out, that was their chance to shine. That was their chance to kind of pull away. And now that they didn't get to do that, they're so close to where even the Bengals could catch up on them. Like, this is one of the worst positions that you wanted to be in if you are a Steelers fan. So I'm going to start with the Steelers fan, and then I'll switch it up to the Bills side when it comes to Omar down there. So, Daniel, I want to know, when it comes to your Steelers, what is the plan for the Steelers next season? Like, what is it that you have a lot of aging players, you have a coach that you feel like needs to be out the door? Like, if you are the owner of the Steelers, what is your plan for next season?
I'm firing Mike Tomlin. I'm tearing it all down. I am trading fire sale. Sorry, not firehouse.
No. Set the house on fire. Fuck it.
Yeah, you're right. You need to call the fire department, because I am gonna set the house on fire if I was the owner.
Macho Talk Sports does not condone arson.
Honestly, it's frustrating. It's almost laughable to kind of. I mean, I watched the game, fully expecting the Bills to win. I did not think that the Bills were going to run. What was it? Let me get the exact number. 29 times they ran the same exact play. 29 times. No defense in the NFL has played more snaps than Pittsburgh. That's 820. And then on the flip side, no offense in the NFL has played fewer snaps than Pittsburgh, 667. We are not on the field, and we're being outplayed by 153 possessions, if you want to do that math. The Bills, specifically for this game, they had 74 plays. 51% of those plays were in Steelers territory. Within the last 6 quarters, the Steelers have been outscored 40-14. In this particular game, the Steelers had 43 plays, 166 yards, 18 minutes of possession, which led to those beautiful 7 points you see on the board. The standard is the standard. The standard is mediocrity. The standard will continue being the standard because Art Rooney will not let go of Mike Tomlin. That is going to be the case next year and the following and the following and the following. And just Groundhog Day again. Over and over again. We put our faith in a 41-year-old quarterback. This is what we get. We put our faith in Mike Tomlin. He is a good coach. He is not a great coach. I'm sure if you're a Steelers fan, you've heard James Harrison call it out. You've heard Ben Roethlisberger call it out. You've heard Stephen A. Smith call it out. All these national media outlets, it is time. And I've been clamoring it for the last 10 years, and people laughed at me. we are the standard of mediocrity. And yeah, there's not much. Like I'm talking about my Steelers, and there's nothing tingling, there's no warm feeling, there's no cold feeling. I am just absolutely dead inside.
So, because I want to ask Omar about the Bills, but before I switch it to the Bills, because I want to ask a question about the Steelers. When you look at like their cap space in next year, the amount of players that you're paying decent money to, because obviously everybody gets a decent amount of money, but like you look at someone like TJ Watt, that's a $42 million cap hit, DK Metcalf 31, Highsmith 20. Now, Highsmith and DK are still 29 years old. So they're still like at a very good age where you can still get production out of them. TJ Watt is 32. That's not a bad age, but you have seen throughout the years where that stamina, that season-long stamina is not there like it used to be, where injury history pops up every once in a while. Then the fourth highest paid person is someone like a Cameron Haywood, who's 37. Jalen Ramsey, who's 32. Like, you have a lot of old players on this team. Are you trying to move on from those old players, or are you just going to let them play out their contract and keep them?
As much as I love TJ, as much as I love Hayward, they're being paid to produce, and you're not producing. I would personally probably move on, but now you're stuck. You're stuck with this contract. Cam Hayward's, which probably wasn't. This was given to him at the beginning of the season. He was holding out for this contract. Yes, he's still solid, but he's getting up there in age. It doesn't matter, honestly. It doesn't matter if if we have the less the most cap space or the most cap. It just doesn't matter because they're not being utilized correctly. Regardless, it's just a mess. It's schematically, it's just boring football. That is, the book is out on the Steelers. They haven't changed anything on the Steelers defensive side. They haven't changed anything at all. You can throw in a quarterback from 2007 and they'll be able to dissect this defense because it's exactly the same. With Aaron Rodgers, like, yeah, he was the best player pretty much. He probably still is. Yes, he's not great. Yes, he's missing guys, but they're not utilizing DK correctly. We haven't even given ourselves a chance to getting a wide receiver too. We just signed Adam Thielen. You think Adam Thielen's going to be our wide receiver too? He's 1 year older than Darius Slay, who we just got rid of as well. We just keep getting older and older. It makes no sense, and it's absolutely insane. Again, the standard is the standard, and the standard is mediocrity.
Mike Tomlin definitely has a type, and he likes them old. That's for sure. Now, Omar, go ahead.
I'm gonna just say something about the Steelers. I don't care if it's app face app, or MySpace. Yeah. I don't know what you were trying to do with that cap space, but it's like I told you a couple of weeks back. The Steelers needed to get back to who they were. Not trying to like make it like plug in the holes and that's it. It's a temporary fix. No, it doesn't work like that. They need to go back to being like that defense that everybody was scared of. Plugging the holes only works for like, okay, this season. Okay, so you have the same problems next season. What are we doing next season?
Plugging the holes works for a night. Pause.
This is watched by kids. I'm gonna censor myself now. I don't need that type of smoke. Bye.
So when it comes to your highest paid players, I mean, like, your hands are kind of tied with some of them where you kind of can't, like TJ Watt. No matter how well or bad he plays, you can't really do anything with him because of that dead cap space on his contract. So like he's owed $42 million next year, but if you trade him, then he has a dead cap hit of $94 million. So you can't get rid of him until 2028, I believe. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, 2028, where the dead cap hit is only 10 million. So you'd save a lot of money if you cut him or get rid of him or something like that. And at that point, he's 34.
34.
But then if you look at any of the other players, I mean, it's like DK Metcalf. I don't think you could get rid of him. Highsmith, I think might as well just keep him. He's not too expensive. Cameron Haywood, I think you can get rid of him though. I don't see any dead cap hit on his contract for this year. So you have a potential out where you can save money. But because he's so integral to your franchise, would it just behoove them to kind of just keep him and let him retire as Steeler instead of trying to send him off to these other teams that he doesn't care about for a year? Unless it's something that he wants, obviously, like then cool. But
you kind of have to. You kind of have to ride the wave.
Your hands are kind of tied.
Yeah, you kind of have to. You have to ride the wave. You kind of have to suck it up for the next 2 years. Just if that's the case, just move him around. That's another thing. Like he only rushes from the right side, left side of the line. This year, supposedly they were going to move him around because teams were doubling him, chipping him, and they always know TJ's going to be there. And then Highsmith is always going to be here. So you can game plan that out so easily, especially now in today's day and age, which offensive schematically and these brains that are coming out when it comes to offense, they can just play around them pretty much. TJ's not the same game wrecker that he used to be. He will have a game or two. Hell, even before this season, I'm sure he'll have a big play here and there. But yeah, he's going to retire a Steeler. Cam Hayward's going to retire a Steeler. Highsmith would actually be my guy that I would trade and get rid of just because he is a little younger and he is productive. He does have a little bit of an injury history, but then we have an up and coming guy, Nick Herbig. Not sure if you've heard about him. He's actually just as impactful, if not even better than Highsmith. And just with his youth, I mean, he almost gives that TJ Watt presence because you have to account for him. You can't just cover him with the guard or the tackle or whoever. You have to chip him with the tight end because he'll get to you. And that was the dream, kind of like having those three guys just rotate in and out. But injuries, they're old. It's not always the case. Plus the scheme is just not there. But to answer your question again, it's just they're going to retire. Our hands are handcuffed, and the most important position in football is a massive question mark. Unless Will Howard comes in, the Ohio State guy, right, national champion, comes in and absolutely just becomes this next thing, which I don't foresee, but I mean, you never know. It may happen.
You got to dream big sometimes. Yeah, if you look at some of these rankings on that side, offense or defense, it's a lot of 20-somethings. Like that's not good where you don't have that one stat that you could look at and feel confident about like this. Yeah, we do this better than anybody. It's like it's a lot of work.
We are number one in the highest paid defense, and that's the stat we can hang on to.
Does that change now that you got rid of old boy that just decided to retire or something? Slay?
No, because most of the money is within Jalen Ramsey, which by the way, he's actually been pretty good, but
safety
only so much one guy. Yeah, exactly. He's playing safety, which he should have probably been playing safety all his career.
Makes more sense.
That's tied up in the guys you just said: Watt, Hayward, Ramsey, Highsmith, Patrick Queen. All those guys are just there. Slay was just kind of like another veteran that came and went. The cornerback position has never been addressed in Mike Tomlin's career. We have never had a lockdown corner.
So Omar, when I sent the questions out, this was supposed to be a Steelers topic, but I'm gonna let you choose. Do you want to comment on what you think the Steelers should do next season, or would you rather talk about your Bills?
I'd rather talk about that horror show that is the Bills, the Jekyll and Hyde that is the Bills.
Go right ahead.
And I'm gonna be real brief with you, and I'm gonna let you know everything that they're doing wrong. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not happy with this win. You know why I'm not happy with this win? Because it's an inconsistent win. It's not something that I feel, oh my God, I excited. No, because I saw things, even though they won the game. There were moments in that game that I'm like, the Bills are going to lose because of the way that they're playing. Let's start off with the inconsistent play with by the quarterback, Josh Allen. You're not a, but you can't blame it all on him. His offensive line is horrible. They don't protect him. He's always getting hit. He's always taking hits. I'm surprised that this kid is still in there in one piece. Lack of weapons. Josh Allen doesn't have any type of weapons. The running game sometimes is non-existent. It doesn't exist sometimes. And we said earlier in the year, to Josh Allen's success, there needs to be a number two. There needs to be a Robin to that Batman because Batman can't do it on his own. If all you do is pass, then guess what? Defense are just going to hit you. They're going to rock you, and they're going to know that they're just going to go to you. I'm not happy with this team. Coming into the season, I was very excited about this team, but then I realized within the first 3 weeks, Josh Allen doesn't have any weapons. Look around. Aside from the running back, who do they have? Who can Josh Allen trust in a tight pressure situation in the playoffs? Let's say they go to an AFC Championship game. Who are you throwing the ball to
The
that
other
can get you to the Super Bowl?
The other team.
That's it.
Basically.
So I'm just like Flores right now. Like we had a lot of aspirations for our teams, but our teams lack consistency. Even when they do get wins, it's like you look at the game and it's atrocious. It's a disgusting game to watch. It's not smooth like it was last year. Like Josh Allen from last year, everything was smooth. The ball, the offensive line, the defense, everything meshed together. But this year, I feel like the Bills, they're not. There's something's missing. Something is off. They need to try to get in some trades, pursue somebody in free agency. That defense needs a whole revamp because that defense is like sometimes it doesn't even exist anymore. They were known like what 1 or 2 years ago. They were like a top 10 defense in the league. What happened to that?
Yeah.
What happened to that? They don't have it. I am just very disappointed. I am not happy. Even though they beat the Steelers, I am not happy, and I don't have a lot of hopes for the Bills. Honestly, to be keep it 100% real with you.
I appreciate the honesty, and I agree honestly with the sentiments where it's very inconsistent for a team that this was a team that was always on the cusp of a Super Bowl like team. Obviously, Mahomes always getting in the way, but other than Mahomes, there was honestly no one really getting in your way. To your credit, the weapons, man. There's nobody that you really trust. I mean, you got Khalil Shakir, who's decent, but if you got to call him your number one, you're kind of in trouble. Keon Coleman hasn't been progressing the way that they expected him to progress. Their tight end and Kincaid is constantly getting hurt, not just this year, but like throughout the years, to where it's messing with his progression. There was a couple years where he was supposed to kind of break out, and we're still kind of waiting for it. He's had a couple of games here and there, but he's not a consistent weapon that you can kind of trust. When we talk about the defense passing wise is the best passing defense in the league, but when it goes to rushing, they're literally the worst rushing team in the league. So it's like, technically, by the books, they're a top 10 defense, but when you watch it, it doesn't look like a top 10 defense because you could just completely run all over them. And because they're focusing on the run so much, it makes the passing stats look a little worse because they don't have to pass as much against them. But the defense is very inconsistent. Obviously, they're also having injuries with people like Joey Bosa, Bernard, the big boy, defensive tackles in and out every once in a while, who's probably the most important person on that defense. And then Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen has had such a weird ass year. He was someone else where by week 4, we're like, okay, he heard all the shit that people were talking, me included, about how he didn't deserve that MVP. He's coming back for blood and all that stuff. That shit died down quick. Again, to what you said, Omar, it's not all his fault because you still have to have weapons. You still have to have an offensive line that's being able to block you so that you can let the play progress and stuff like that. But Josh Allen being a MVP quarterback, being a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, is supposed to try to find a ways to make it manageable. And with this game, this was a James Cook game. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago to where if you stop James Cook, you can stop the Bills. You run on them and stop the run. And that's it. That's the recipe. Now, when you go against someone like the Steelers, who has been having a lot of issues, their quarterback's currently hurt here and there. Their defense is very inconsistent. Like, you can beat up on teams like that. But when it comes to teams that are prepared and ready to play, the Bills are very beatable this year. And that's weird to see. I mean, I love it as a Jets fan, but that's like, it's just visually weird to see how beatable you guys are, especially coming into the season where the aspirations were through the roof.
Well, the Bills are about to get tested. I mean, they play the Bengals, which we know has Joe Burrow back, so that defense is definitely going to get tested. Then they play the Patriots, which that should be another, which they already lost to the Patriots. Then they play the Browns, which even though that defense is pretty good, they can probably still beat the Browns.
They should.
And then the Eagles, and then they close it off with the Jets, which the Jets have been a lot better as of late. So again, there's nothing better than December football because it does, like you mentioned, Omar, it separates the good and the bad teams and the pretenders from the contenders and all that. So it's a tough slate of games that the Bills have. So those inconsistencies need to vanish quickly. But just like the Jets' very, very first game where that offense looked amazing against us, that defense looked pretty darn good against the Steelers. So I just want to apologize if you guys get absolutely destroyed by the Bengals next week.
The thing is, I'm kind of expecting it because a couple of games this year, the Bills were exposed.
Yeah.
Like Macho said, you stop Cook, what do you really have? Like Josh Allen can't throw to anybody, so they were exposed a couple of times. I remember, I don't know if it was week 1, Macho, correct me if I'm wrong, week 2, one of those games, they barely won. The only reason why they won is because the other team, one of those two teams was playing horrible or they made a mistake, but it's not because the Bills alone won that game. And I've been saying that, every week I've been saying it on the podcast. The Bills are inconsistent. They're not to be trusted. And I keep saying that. And I'm a Bills fan, but I'm not delusional.
That first win was the Baltimore win when they won 41-40, came back at the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Exactly. That was a Ravens mistake.
Win. And then then the next 3 wins, which was week 2, week 3, week 4, was the Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and the Saints. So 3 cupcake teams.
Shit don't count. They should have beat the Patriots. That would have set them apart from everybody else.
And that was the first loss that you took right there.
If you would have beat the Patriots, you would have threw off their whole mojo.
Yeah,
because they started picking it up right then when they beat the Bills. They picked it up.
I think that was their booster right there. We're like, okay, we can compete around here. And then y'all lost to Atlanta the week after that. So y'all went from 4-0 to 4-2 going into the bye week. And then I mean you've had some easy opponents. The Panthers was 40-9. That was a complete dub. The Kansas City Chiefs, that was a good win. That was a good win for you guys by 7 points.
Game all around. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Then you beat you actually lost to Miami 30-13. Like Tampa Bay you beat, but they're beat up. Lost to the Texans by 4 points. And then not barely beat the Steelers because you beat them by a lot, but the game itself wasn't very
sloppy.
It wasn't a dominating. Yeah, for the way the score looks, you would think it'd be more dominating, but
yeah, we had a chance to kind of capitalize, but that fumble touchdown kind of ruined.
And Flores, that was crazy is when I was watching the game, I was like, the Steelers have a chance. But as sloppy as the Bills are playing, the Steelers are going to have a chance regardless.
Yeah, we're sloppier.
Hey, yo, this is a kids program, buddy.
Not anymore.
Flores just went from he changed it to G to PG-13 now.
Hell yeah. Macho Talk Sports at night. Now, we're going to move on from the Steelers and from the NFL in totality, and we got to talk about these guys who have been talked about in the past couple of weeks because of the surprising nature of the way that they've been playing. But they just beat my goddamn Lakers by almost 20 points. Win. Which which is bad enough. Like the fact that we lose to them. All right, that's a terrible loss on our part. What kills me the most is Dylan Brooks' annoying ass getting 33 points on us.
Yeah.
On top of that, Devin Booker played less than 10 minutes and got injured and was out of there. On top of that, Jalen Green is still nowhere to be found for the next couple of weeks. Yet they find a way to pull it out and are now currently sitting at 13-9, I believe. So we got to bring it up again. I have to ask you, and now that we got Omar here, let's start off with Omar because I don't know your thoughts when it comes to these things. The Suns win without Jalen Green, without Devin Booker. They beat the Lakers. They moved to 13-9. Have they earned your respect in the NBA?
They have signs of life. They have
Okay.
signs of life. They have earned my respect because coming in, if you look at the construction of that roster, people were kind of laughing at the construction of the roster
terrible.
because
Yeah.
they were just there was like I don't know what they called it. It was like 5 power forwards, 8 shooting guards. Like
Yeah.
it didn't make any sense. It was a
No.
pileup of the same position,
Mhm.
but there's signs of life
Modern
with their
NBA.
record. I expected them to have like 5 wins right now, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
Especially in the West. The West is starting to be what they used to be back in the early 2000s.
Looking
The
good.
powerhouse. They looking
Yeah.
good. So they
Mhm.
have earned my respect because I was looking at the other day and I was on Bleacher Report and I'm like, the Suns are relevant again? What? Yeah, this is a real like alien like season that these teams like all in sports, like in the NFL and I think the NBA as well. Like why these teams that you never thought would be relevant are like the Suns relevant? What? When? How? But they're making it happen. They have my respect. They do. Like I said, signs of life. I'm gonna take the little asthma pump and put it away. They don't need it. Their lungs don't need air. They're good. They're breathing.
Stop pushing drugs on this program, god damn it. No,
It's
yeah,
rated R now.
we upgraded. Daniel, when you look at these Suns, have they earned your respect yet, or is this still too early in the season?
No, they have because looking at the construct of their roster, it doesn't look great. Plus,
Not at all.
the names that they have, you're like, man, they're just throwing guys together just to have a team for this year and then figure it out from there. But if you start actually looking into their roster, they got some dogs, man. They have some guys that would play hard, and just playing hard in the NBA will get you places. Royce O'Neal, great 3-point shooter.
Mhm. Great
And
defender.
he's a great defender. We know obviously Devin Booker. Just a little bit further down, Dylan Brooks. We know he's annoying as hell. But honestly, he's gritty, and he's one of those guys. When he's on your team, you're like, I'm a fight. I'll go up against the world with this guy next to me. But when you're playing against him, you absolutely despise this guy. Like you just
He reminds me of Matt Barnes, Flores. He reminds me of Matt Barnes.
Mm,
yeah, pretty
Matt
pretty
Barnes.
much. Where
that's a good one. That's a good
Or
one.
the
James
thing is that
Posey.
Dylan
James
Brooks-
Posey, Matt Barnes.
James Posey and Dylan Brooks that does have a knack to have he does have these big games all of a sudden. A few summers ago, against Team USA for I believe it was the bronze medal in the FIBA. It wasn't the World Cup. Actually, I think it was the World Cup. Him and Team Canada, they put 30 on that iteration of Team USA, where Team USA, I don't think they meddled at all. I have to look back. But it was the Dylan Brooks show. So obviously he's capable. Grayson Allen has turned himself, another just hard-nosed guy, has turned himself into a great 3-point shooter. So they have these just hard-nosed, hard-playing guys that will get after it. If I'm not mistaken, they lead the league in steals, which actually fits the brand of what they're trying to accomplish. Just switching all around and playing passing lanes should just be gritty with the pop of offense that Devin Booker gives you. Now we'll see exactly how they look like without Devin Booker, and I think it's just the Lakers. And they probably just got him a little surprised. They were pre-planning, and then the Dylan Brooks just when it comes from
No.
somebody else, you sometimes don't expect it, and they'll lose you the game. But we'll see moving forward if they're able to keep it up. They have my attention, a little bit of my respect. I still think by the end of the year they'll be a top bottom team. So we'll just let's we're only a quarter of the way through the NBA season.
Still very early, but yeah, I don't even want to give them my respect, but they kind of beat it out of me. Pause. Like, and even some of the people that you're naming, like Grayson Allen, has also been missing time. I think he's been out the past 2 weeks, and they're still finding ways to win without him too. Yeah, he's last 5 games. November 29th was the last time he played.
Yep.
And then before that, he also missed a bunch of time. I think that was like him coming in back in a limited minutes type of role. So even without him, they've been winning. I have to give him respect. And then also this kid right here has been balling out.
Yes,
he's been playing very well. He looks like he has that starting role locked down. If you look at the way that he's been used, sorry, I guess I'll just pull it up from
year by year.
here. I kind of wanted to see like a breakdown of his games, not a whole season in totality, because it was a little bit of a slow burn. He didn't come out the gate hot, so his actual stats on the season aren't as high as it should be. Just because he didn't really start, and I don't know why it's not giving me a better breakdown. I'm sorry, matchups, advanced box. Let's try matchups. If I can't find it, that's fine. Nope, that's definitely not it. But regardless of that, he's been balling out this year. He had a game winner a couple of days ago as well. A nice young kid. They have some pieces on that team that they could potentially keep building upon, because even though I did not like the way that they built this team at all, the people that it is based around is Devin Booker, who's still pretty young. He's not the youngest or anything like that, but you can still get another 4 or 5 years out of him. Jalen Green, who's young as hell, who they just got. You can still build around him for the next 10 years if you decide to. Dylan Brooks only 29. Like, they have a lot of youth. I like the rookie that they brought in from Duke. Obviously, he's gonna take some time to progress and come along. I don't see it coming along this year, but that's a project right there that they just have building for the future, as well as Ryan Dunn, the sophomore that they got last year. Like, they have some decent pieces now, depending on how they draft and how they play the offseason. I don't think that they're one of those destinations that's going to attract a bunch of free agency. So drafting and trading is going to be their token for trying to get better. And as one of the people that heavily criticized the way that they were making their moves, they've kind of shut me up a little bit. I got to be honest. They kind of shut me up a little bit. They've garnered my attention. We were basically at full strength, and they still found a way to beat us. And I think even if they caught us off guard, like that, it's just unacceptable to lose to a team like this, especially a Lakers team that's looking to try to compete for a championship. You have to take care of opponents like this, especially while they're injured. Even at full health, these are one of those teams that we're supposed to just handle. Now, coming in with their best 2 players down, and we lose by almost 20, that's completely unacceptable. So the Lakers have to step it up. Shout out to the Suns.
They'll lose their next 6 games. Just looking at the schedule, without Devin Book, you can kind of game plan for them a little bit. Maybe Dylan Brooks gets hot here and there, but their next 6 games are against top tier talent. So,
correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't know we had a left and a right groin. I thought it was just a groin. I guess the right side of it.
Yeah, probably like the right side. Okay. It's a muscle that, you know.
They make it seem like it was 2 groins. That it threw me off for a second. You can go to the doctor.
What happened today? All right, let's go to commercial.
We'll be right back after this. Oh, so yeah. Now shout out to the Suns. They had a big win. They're having a pretty decent season. Shout out to them for sure. This next team that I want to talk about is kind of on the opposite side when it comes to competing for something, which is weird as hell because this is a team that is normally competing all the way into the Western Conference Finals, at least for the past 2 years. And that is these guys right here at 12-8, the Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves are 12-8, coming off of their win to the Spurs, currently losing to New Orleans Pelicans by 9. I want to know from you guys, and I will start with you, Omar. This team, again, got to the Western Conference Finals the past 2 years. Now, they got their asses handed to them in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row, but they still made it. Respect to them. Do you still consider them, though, a finals contender, or are they just like a good team that's just kind of sticking around?
Unfortunately, they're like the Bills. I'm going to use as the Bills. They always get a step close, but they can never beat. Usually, whoever beats them or goes to the finals. I don't think that they're good enough to beat the top three teams in the West right now. Let's call it what it is. Do you see what Oklahoma City's doing? Do you think that the Timberwolves can beat them in a 7 game series? No,
Hell no.
I don't think so. So no, they have had success the last couple of years, but I feel like in a way they have regressed. And it's like we were talking about earlier about Justin Jefferson, they're wasting Ant's prime. Not saying that Ant is old, he's not old,
Not at all.
but consistently every season you're wasting his talent, putting him out there, putting him at a risk of getting an injury, not winning a championship, which is the end goal, and not making any strides because of your salary cap, because they had a salary cap issue. That's why, like, I think one of the main reasons why they traded Cat because they were so, they were struggling with money. So no, I don't think they're a threat to those top three teams in the West. No, I don't even think they're a threat to the Spurs. To be honest with you,
Oh, whatchamacallit, Flores, do you agree? Do you think that they're not a finals contender, or do you still kind of view them in that light?
No, it's just the players around Ant got older, or they got rid of key pieces like Nikhil Alexander, which we didn't think it was a major piece. Apparently, it was a pretty decent piece. And yes, they have DiVincenzo there, but he's kind of better suited to come off the bench. Rob Dillingham is their point guard along with Mike Conley. Mike Conley is just another year older. Rob Dillingham hasn't really panned out to what he is going to be. Anthony Edwards has been in and out of the lineup. Julius Randle has been in and out of the lineup. And Gobert is just going to be Rudy Gobert. I mean, he's just going to be a defensive menace, and then he's not. It's just one of those things. Right now, as they're constructed, on paper, their starting lineup isn't terrible, and yes, they can probably hang with everybody outside of OKC. But once you start breaking into that bench, that's when it all just kind of that's
downhill.
where. Yeah, pretty much. That's where the Rockets are going to get them. That's where OKC obviously is going to get them. That's where the Lakers are going to get them. It's just that whole entire bench is not as good. Nas Reed, yes, he is probably their better player, and I don't even think he's starting. I just think they lack a guard outside of Anthony Edwards. They have way too many bigs, and that guard was but I think they're going to be one of the teams that are going to be making a move at the deadline to bolster up their guard rotation.
Yeah, they almost kind of have to at this point. Nas Reed, I don't know 100% if he is starting, but I'm looking at his minutes for the past 5 games, 30, 28, 24, 23, 27. If he's not starting, then he's still getting a lot of 6-man minutes, probably playing deep into the fourth and stuff like that. So he's still very, very integral to their team. For me, I think as much as I love Anthony Edwards, I think they have an Anthony Edwards problem. I think that he is their sole identity, and they don't have anything else around him. Rudy Gobert is strictly defense, And even up to this point in his career, he's not the defender that he once was. Julius Randle is a kind of nice, do it all type of player, but he's still not someone that I can feel comfortable calling a number 2. And honestly, if I'm trying to win a championship, I'm not sure if I like him as a number 3 either. But on this team, he's their number 2. Jaden McDaniels is strictly defense. Naz Reid, for the most part, is defense. Like, it's a lot of defenders, rebounders, and then Anthony Edwards. And then the people that can shoot aren't really going to get the shots up like they should because everything runs through Anthony Edwards. Now, I think because I agree where I think they need a point guard. They need a guard that can run an offense, but I don't think that Anthony Edwards is going to allow that player to run the offense because not just also his style of play, but his mentality. I think that becomes an issue for the Timberwolves, and I think as well as them being in the first apron here, very close to that second apron by just under 4,000, 3.5 million, excuse me, not thousand. They have a lot of issues, and I'm leaning to the side to where instead of becoming buyers in the trade market, they might need to be sellers. 100%. I mean, look at Rudy Gobert's contract, Julius Randle's contract, and none of them are helping you win. That's 65 million, 66 million this year, moving up to almost 70 million next year of just basically nothing. And they're older as well. So if you don't have any chances of winning, why not try to get rid of them within these 2 years that you have them contracted instead of letting them walk for nothing? And just start building around. Because like at least Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid, even though I don't feel like they're offensive players, there's no players that can really make their own shots and get their own shots up. They're still young enough to where you can still build with them, and they're not super expensive. They're in the mid-20s, which at this point in the NBA is basically a role player type of contract, which is crazy. But there's someone that you could still keep around. DiVincenzo, I think, is somebody that I like, but is somebody that never really fit into their system since he's got there. Like from him playing on the Knicks to him playing on the Timberwolves, it looks like two different players. It's this play style, it's chemistry and all that stuff. And I think that they have an Anthony Edwards problem, and that is going to hinder them from winning a championship within the next couple of years until his mentality decides to change, or the people that are making the decisions for this franchise and basketball operations wise, until they decide to change it. Because at the end of the day, they still have the rights to build the team around Anthony Edwards, regardless of what he thinks about it. But someone has to have the balls to stand up to him. I think he's kind of just running all over this franchise. And even though he wants to win, he also wants to make sure he looks good while they do it. And I think that's going to be a problem for them. I think he's too selfish to be able to make the specific sacrifices needed to make this team a contender.
Yeah, it's the way they constructed. They are definitely kind of handcuffed. Getting rid of Cat makes sense to a certain degree, but not for Julius Randle.
Yeah.
You could have gotten something a little better for Karl Anthony Towns, honestly. But
did they get a first? They got one first, right?
I think so, but again, it's the Knicks. The Knicks are somewhat going to be at least, top 4, top 5 at least. Even if they have a terrible year, I don't think they'll be any worse than 5. So that pick is not going to be a lottery pick, if that. No, it's just the Timberwolves are a little handcuffed, and I like Ant. I don't like his decisions off the court per se. But on the court, I mean, he's definitely, he's a powerhouse, he's a juggernaut, and yes, he can probably will you to a win, but at times he can be a little bit passive or just kind can kind of lose you the game as much as he can win you the game. But he's only 24, and they're gonna have to. This whole roster has to get revamped within the next year or so.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to making moves on this team and what is it that they can do to try to make it better and try to compete and stuff like that, one of the names that I'm constantly hearing about is somebody that's on the team that we're going to talk about next, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies. Here, I keep hearing a John Morant possibly to the Timberwolves. And I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, John Morant said he was good in the West. He was good in the West. He didn't need no help. He didn't want to go to the East or nothing like that. We good out here. They are currently 9-12, ninth in the West. My question for you guys is: John Morant still good in the West, or does he need to get traded?
He needs to get traded. He definitely needs to get traded. And I don't think John Morant's actually that good anymore, honestly. I think that the NBA kind of passed him by. I think his off-the-court issues and on-the-court issues have caught up to him. His three-point shot does not look good at all. I mean, most of the time when you see highlights of him, it's him kind of just going at somebody from the bench in street clothes. Like, that's not what you want to see. I think he, unfortunately, because he is such a talent, I think he kind of derailed his career just from dumb mistakes, nothing crazy. It's just, that's another team that it's a little bit on kind of blow it up mode. I'm looking at Jaren Jackson Jr. and that's a player that I really, really wish the Magic would trade for, because that would be perfect. But, yeah. Just I just want to say thank you, Memphis, for giving us Desmond Bane and taking KCP. We might send you another first-round pick just as a thank you, because F them picks, 37 points in back-to-back games. Yeah. You guys traded the wrong star player.
KCP averaging 7.6. Put some respect on his name. Now, Omar, my question for you is, when you look at John Morant, do you think that he is still good in the West, or do you think that he needs to be traded?
He's talented, but he's not good in the West anymore. Definitely not. The West is too much of a powerhouse now. They're not the laughing stock or the joke that they were 5-6 years ago. So he needs to get traded. He needs to find a way out of Memphis, because he's not doing the benefit. The team is not benefiting from him. He's not benefiting from the team. So it's time to go our separate ways.
Yeah, I agree. John Morant needs to get out of there. The problem with me is, because I kind of agree, where I don't think he's as good as he once was anymore. I don't know if basketball has kind of taken a back seat to him, to where he's just focused on other things outside of basketball. But he's not the same player that he once was. He's also having a lot of injury issues. He's a lot of PR nightmare type of mentality off the court. So it's like, which teams wants to really bring that in?
Mm-hmm.
His value in the trade market is very murky for me, because he's too good for you to not ask for a couple of young players and 2 to 3 firsts, a couple of pick swaps. Like, he's only 26, and he has somewhat of a history to show that he is warranted these type of picks in return for him. But if you look at just the last 2 years versus the first 4 years, it's like a different player. And this team is just all over the place, man. And that Bane trade really put the nail in the coffin for them. Not just because they got rid of Bane, but bringing in KCP. Like, KCP is cooked. And I think that the Grizzlies have a lot of problems. JJJ, I think would be a freaking amazing player if they become sellers. But if they become sellers, I'm not 100% certain that they won't keep him and try to build around him for now until they're able to possibly draft somebody or one of their young boys like Scottie Pippen Jr. or Jalen Wells or something like that. Like kind of even Vince Williams Jr. has been having some decent games. One of them maybe takes that next step up. Even maybe a Gigi Jackson, who's someone that they like a lot. It's not a good built team. This is a terrible built team. And then the leader, the same things that we were talking about when it comes to the Timberwolves, where it's like that leader is just mentality wise has an issue, play style wise doesn't really fit with a team that's ready to try to win now, still has a selfish mentality. Like these are the type of things that you need to get. Those are typically the things that leave you as you're like in your third or fourth season in the NBA. You start seeing what it is that you have to do in order to win and put some of that stuff to the side where they're just John Morant and Anthony Edwards are just big ass kids to where they're just going to do whatever the hell they want. And just that mentality is going to hinder them. Who knows how long it takes for them to finally get over it. But until then, they might mess up their career. Like John Morant, he's not going to do anything on this team. And then I don't know what team fits with his play style that is going to be able to compete with him if they did trade for it.
Yeah. I have a team in mind, but I'm gonna save it for a little later.
So I think what I'm gonna do is this next topic's gonna be the last topic. We're gonna save the one that we had currently planned for the last topic for a different show because we're coming up on an hour and 50 minutes.
All right.
But I like that topic, so we'll bring that back next week.
Yeah.
So just keep what you got. So now what I want to do is I want you guys to give me a pick on a sleeper team. What we're going to do is we're going to look at this standings. We're going to take out the first 6 teams. They're not allowed to be picked. So for the East side, it's from Detroit Pistons all the way down to the Cavaliers. Yeah, you guys made the cut. You guys came up. You were just down here. So you guys made the cut. So the top 6 teams on the East, then the top 6 teams on the West are not able to be picked for this exercise. So I want you to pick one of these teams from 7 to 15 on either the East or the West as the sleeper team that you think is going to make a playoff run. Who is that team and why? And I'll start with you, Omar. Is that an Eastern team or a Western team?
Let's look at the West.
Let's look at the West. So that starts from the Suns down to the Pelicans.
We had a whole conversation about the Suns as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Suns can be a sleeper team. The Golden State Warriors can also be, can turn it around as well. Like I said, and this applies to all sports. You could do one thing in the season. Halfway through the season, you turn it up. That's what it's all about. So I feel like Golden State and Phoenix are like right there in the hunt.
Okay.
Those are my 2 sleepers. I'm gonna say 2: Golden State and Phoenix.
If you had to put money on one, which one would you put money on?
Golden State.
Golden State.
They got that boy Jimmy Butler and Curry. So yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that was going to be one of my picks if somebody didn't pick them, but you got them. I'll let you lock that in. And then for you, Daniel, is your team on the East or the West?
I'm gonna go to the East.
Okay.
There's a team on there that has a MVP caliber player that you wouldn't want to see in a playoff series simply because just out of pure will can get you beat. And I know the rest of the roster doesn't look so hot, but Giannis can absolutely. Giannis can.
I both took my teams.
Giannis can absolutely win you at least a first round series, maybe a second round series, just depending on who they play based off matchups and all that. He's just still that good. People forget how good he truly is. Kind of like how would you say when people just get tired of
the fatigue.
The fatigue, thank you. Yes. Just voters fatigue when it comes to MVP. It's Giannis is still that good. He made a comment recently that he's going to be breaking LeBron's point record, which that means he would have to average like 40 something points. But if anybody can do it,
He ain't gonna do it
leave it to
without
Giannis.
a jump shot. He need to knock down some threes.
Leave it to Giannis, man. Leave it to Giannis. Everybody booed him with his free throws, and in that finals run he had, I think he his free throw percentage just went like this. It's hard to kind of finals MVP, a current MVP favorite to a certain extent. I think he's still top 5. It's just that the rest of the roster, but the rest of the roster has guys that if they get hot in a series, like Gary Trent Jr., Miles Turner, Bobby Portis, those are guys that can absolutely help you win a series. And plus, just for the hell of it, Cole Anthony, I know hasn't been having a great season, but he can win you at least a game here and there. So it's the roster's just weird. It's just a bunch of 3-point shooters, old 3-point shooters, then Miles Turner, and then of course the MVP.
Part of me likes their roster though. Obviously it's not a great roster, but I kind of like the way it's constructed because of the style of play for these players. And it's kind of similar to the Suns, to where like they have a bunch of players that just play hard. Gary Trent Jr., Miles Turner, Kevin Porter Jr. is somebody that's very interchangeable too, where you could put him anywhere between the 1 and the 3, and a very good playmaker, as well as can score, rebound, do a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Then Ryan Rollins has really been stepping it up this year. He was one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to pick the Bucks, between the Bucks and the Warriors, which I'll cover the Warriors after this one, because I'm still going to stick with the 2 teams that I'll just go over the same 2 teams you guys picked anyway. Ryan Rollins really freaking stepped it up this year, averaging almost 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists, and that's because he didn't start off in the season as well. So if he had started the season, these numbers would be even better. And then Giannis has been missing a couple of games too, so that also helps their young boys, people like Ryan Rollins, new people like Miles Turner, to get integrated into the team a little more. But this is a Giannis built team. When Giannis misses games, you see the difference in this team drastically. So unless his health is an issue, I can see them still competing. But that the health is an issue. Like without him, they're not doing anything. They're going nowhere fast. But with him, I like the way that the rest of the team kind of builds out a little bit. Now, they're not someone that scares you at all, but they play hard. They have a bunch of, like you said, they have a bunch of 3-point players that's surrounding the 3-point line. So when Giannis is just dominating on the inside of the paint, he could always just dish it out at the last second if you come in and close out and stuff. So it helps him a lot. You see him, he gets his triple doubles as well. Because of stuff like that, like people like AJ Green just waiting on the corner. Now, the Warriors. I mean, what more do you have to say other than Steph
that guy right there,
Curry? Like 37 years old as hell for sure. But that jump shot does not fade away. It does not matter. He gonna be 45 with a ratty like that. Like that shit is dangerous. And this is one of those teams that, when we were talking about the football teams and who we feel like are Super Bowl favorites, a big part of that is being able to trust your quarterback. When it comes to this, you have to be able to trust your superstar. You have a tested veteran in Steph Curry that you know that you can trust. With the ball and the game on the line, you put it in his hands and just let him make the play. We've seen it throughout his career in the Warriors. We've seen it on Team USA, to where there's nothing but superstars and Hall of Fame players on that team, and they all just, Curry, just fucking do it. Like do your magic, bro. And he just put everyone's to bed. Like it's something that it's just a very comfortable feeling when you have someone like a Steph Curry. Now, obviously, you also have the coach in place, someone who has done it before, someone who's been on this team very long. With those things, that makes someone like the Warriors somebody that I could just never count out. I don't even care what their record is. If they come in 10th in the West play-in, like, I'm still putting money on the Warriors because they're that good and because they're that proven. The rest of their roster is pretty good. I think Kuminga's still hurt. He's coming back from his injury, though, where I think he just came back the last game, if I'm not mistaken. November 29th. So yeah, and then he missed a bunch of games before that. So again, injuries obviously going to be an issue with them because other than Kaminga, they have people like Buddy Hield, who's 32, Jimmy Butler, who's 36, Al Horford, who's 39. They're a pretty older team. Draymond Green, even freaking Curry's brother's 35. Damn, I feel old as hell seeing that now. I had no idea. But yeah, this is just a team that's just I feel very comfortable and I feel like I can trust them. That would be my two sleeper teams, the same two sleeper teams that you guys picked, which is funny as hell. And yeah, you cannot sleep on teams like the Bucks and the Warriors, especially when they have players like Giannis and Steph Curry at
Pedigree.
their disposal. Yeah, that pedigree. Yeah, that's a great word for it.
Yeah. No, it's again hard to count them out. Curry in the playoffs is a different type of monsters, just like Giannis is a different type of monster in the playoffs. But we still have 3/4 of the season left. Let's see how far this thing goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's going to do it for episode 18. Before we go, I'm going to just give you guys a chance. If there's anything that you want to get off your chest, let the people know. Now is the time. Omar, you have returned. So I'm going to start off with you. What is it? The floor is yours. Anything that you want to say, you want to talk about?
Like Flores said, December football is going to be real interesting because it's going to eliminate a lot of those posers. So it'd be nice to see what the NFL and also the NBA has in store for us this year because I feel like it's anybody's game this year in both sports.
100%. Again, congratulations for your baby boy, the birthday of your baby boy. Obviously, there's going to be a journey. So every once in a while, there might be a chance where you might miss a show. But obviously, you are a part of this show. So whenever you are able to come in and you have some time to come kick it with us, obviously, you are more than welcome to come in. And I'm glad to have you this week. Glad to have you back. We're going to go over here to Daniel Flores. Mr. Flores, the floor is yours.
I just want to say the Magic are officially back. The Steelers are officially ass. The Penguins are actually very good. And the World Baseball Classic starts in a few months. So that's going to be fun as hell too. Just a shout out to everybody that I don't even know how many people are watching us live. If any, I don't care. I just love talking with you guys. So I'm always appreciative of you guys. And Omar, I know with a baby, just cutting out time to do anything other than just taking care of the baby is admirable. So just keep it up. And you're going to hear from everybody. Oh, just sleep when the baby sleeps. That's never the case. Just sleep when you're showering. I think that's the best part that you can do because nobody can bother you there. Just make sure you don't use the water and then you kind of drown.
That's BS when they tell you that you sleep. No, because you're the adult. You still have to take care of that little one to make sure that, especially when they're newborn, they're not putting the blanket over their face. So that's not true. I'm a zombie right now, bro. I'm about I'm about to pull a whole shit, bro.
For a few months,
bro. Yeah. Get used to it. But we believe in you. We know that you're going to do great. You've started off great so far. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. This has been episode 18 of Macho Talk Sports, and we are out.